Hello, welcome to Just Tom Talk. Today, MT125. Stick around for a review, my thoughts, and how I found it today whizzing around the roads of Derbyshire. Oh, and click that subscribe button. I always forget that. So here we are, guys, the mighty MT125. This model in particular was done from 2014 all the way up through till 2019. Then it was superseded to give it that MT look that all the modern ones have got. You may notice I've got a sheet in my hand because although I've spent all day riding on this, I don't yet know all the facts about it. So this particular model, when it first came out, was about £4,500. There were plenty of offers on at the time. But I have to say, for £4,500 as a young person, if it's going to be your first bike, it is a lot of money. However, and I'll go into further details about this in a bit, what you get for your money is absolutely phenomenal. Yes, you can go out there, you can buy a Lex Moto, you can buy an old second-hand bike, but this, in all reality, is a proper motorbike. Yes, you'll pay the money, but it does feel like a proper motorbike. It's not a cheap 125. So, what are you getting for your £4,500? You're getting 14.7 brake horsepower, so it's bang on the limit for a learner. If you're returning back to biking, certainly it's worth considering. I've been really impressed with it today, and I'll go into further details about that. Weighs 138 kilos. Now, I don't know if that's wet or dry. Either way, it feels really, really light when you're using it. And I have to say, it's an absolute pleasure to ride. Your tank is going to give you about 340 miles according to the stats that are online. Today I've been absolutely pinning it. I've done about 100 miles and I'm still doing 110 miles per gallon. So you can fill this up and it's going to run on a thimble of fuel. Let me just go to my notes, see what I've got. The seat height, that's it, 32 inches or 81 centimetres. So me, 5'8". Yeah, it's stood on a block at the moment, and I'll show you a picture of me sat on it in a moment. Servicing costs for this is going to cost you about £80 a year. Depending on how much you use it, you get it in. It's really, really quite cheap to look after once you've purchased it. That's it. Let's have a look around the bike and I'll tell you a little bit about some of the kit that's on it. On the front, we've got good strong discs. This particular model's got ABS, and that's now a legal requirement throughout the UK. Nice strong brakes, beautiful upside down golden forks with plenty of travel on there. LED light that's in the front. I've been told that the beams on them are very good. I've only been riding it today in daylight, so I've not used it constantly. That light is on as well, part of all this Euro 4-5 nonsense, but it's constantly on anyway. Digital dash, and I'll go into details about that in a moment. It's nice, straight, solid handlebars, plenty of width to them, so plenty of control, and nice, usable rear view mirrors, which are a bit of a treat. The tank, nice and plastic, but probably holds 11 litres, that's only a guess. Somebody out there will correct me if I'm wrong. Nice slim seat, and even though it's 81 centimetres, 32 inches, because of that sleekness of the seat, too many S's, it means that your feet are well planted. Right, so as you all know, 5'8", I'm medium, not small, and this is my seating position in it. So you can see, even if you're 6'1", 6'2", I'd argue you've still got plenty of space here. Nice riding position, feels comfortable, alongside with the arms being in a nice relaxed position. Everything's to hand, really easy. You're sat nice and central to your dash, and it's a good place to be. While I'm sat on it, I'll quickly talk about this suspension. Yes, it's upside down forks, but again, the bike is built to a budget, which is understandable. So if I just show you how much travel there is in these front forks, so you can see here, it does dip, but this is a 16 plate. It's done 10,000 miles, so there's a bit of wear on there. But the good thing is, the bike always feels stable when you're riding. Again, on the back, you can see that's really quite stiff, I think. If you are going to carry a passenger, I do think that monoshock could cope with it really quite well. But when you're using it out on the road, and for somebody who's learning or just coming back to biking, that suspension setup for me is fine. Sometimes it can dive when you use your front brake, which is quite sharp on this bike, as I said. It does dive a little bit, but no more than any other bike. Back seat, if you wanted to carry a passenger, this one can't, not got any rear hangers. To be honest, would I want to? Not really on a 125. And if you're learning, you're not going to be able to do that anyway. Looking down here, just further down here, you can see the engine itself is proper good quality. You can tell it's well made. The suspension is adequate, is probably the best way to put it. Two up, it would probably get a little bit unsettled, but to use it on the road, it's fine. So it's single mono shock at the back, and then you look at your rear gear sets and stuff. It's really well made. It's a motorbike, it's a proper motorbike. A usable rear mudguard, because you'll notice on the back here, it has next to nothing, which all adds to the sleekness of the MT. And then on the back, talking about this tyre, we're sat at a 130 again on a 17-inch rim. If we just come around this side, what you will notice on these older ones, it's got the old school sort of indicators, which is fine. You kind of expect that. It's probably moved to all digital these days. On the back then, got a disc again with ABS, quite a small disc on that, but again, it's only a 125, and this model is fitted with a Black Widow exhaust system. And as you'll see later on in the video, it's absolutely deafening, not to my liking, especially not with the baffling. That might just be the old guy in me that doesn't like that. But on, you'll see that it's got these grills here. They absolutely serve no purpose at all other than to look nice. But they give it character, don't they? And they keep it in turn with the rest of the MT range, of which there's plenty out there. For those that don't know, you've got the MT125, MT300, MT07, which is a massive seller in the UK, MT09 and the MT10, but this is a great place to start. Nice, isn't it? Give you a quick whistle stop tour of this display of this lovely little Yamaha. So hello, says Yamaha, always a nice welcome. So we've got all manner of controls on here, but just to quickly speak about what we've got on a digital dash already then. So we've got the temperature gauge top left. These options down here, your miles per gallon, is all controlled off of this little button. You can see it says info on it. So literally you click through that, which in turn then changes through here. So there's a number of things. So as you can just see there, just click through. We've got instant miles per gallon, your trip time, how long you've been using it. So today I've been on it for 2 hours and 15 minutes, Tear-Arson around Derbyshire. My average speed today is 31 mile an hour. That's not so bad considering I've been in and around towns. And then the distance till service. And that's it really for that. Very easy. You can see there though, 115 miles per gallon today, which I think is absolutely fantastic for this little bike. In the centre then you've got your revs, your red lines saying there about 10, give or take, depends which part you want to take on it. When you do hit the red line, these two little lights here start flashing, and if you've got epilepsy, it's not going to be a great place to be, but it is telling you that you're hitting that red line. Change up a gear if you've got another gear. If you've not, slow down. In fairness, top gear, it won't go up there anyway. Nice clear fuel indicator. I got down to 2 bars earlier, fuel light came on, and then it told me on the tachometer how far I'd done on that fuel light. So it's quite nice regards to that. And then a simple, nice and easy clock to read. Other than that, that's it. But for this motorbike, for a 125, that's more kit than I've ever seen on one. So yeah. Right, so I'm now going to annoy all the neighbours. Thankfully it's not my house, it's my friend Jonathan's that's doing the camera. I'm going to fire this up for you. Again, I mentioned earlier, it's got no baffling. I think I corrected that, but listen to this. So that's it on tick over on the Black Widow. It's quite loud anyway, but... Okay then, so what do I think to this to ride? And in summary, what do I think of it as a big bike rider that I've been riding more years than I'd like to admit? Honestly, it's brilliant. It's absolutely cracking. And the reason it's cracking is because it's such good fun. It's got more power than I've ever had on a 125. And I've ridden RG 125s from back in the day, 2-strokes that used to scream. But this seems to have power all the way through the rev range. Now, people are going to be out there that tell me, no it doesn't, it's a little single-cylinder 125. I spent long enough on it today and I've been on enough roads to be able to say, hand on heart, that you can pretty much do anything you want to on this bike. If you're a young lad or gal and you want to go out riding with your big bike mates, this can go and do that. It can do it really quite well as well. So to put it into some sort of context, what it's like to use on the faster roads, I've gone onto dual carriageways today and I was able to easily sit above the legal limit, probably 4 or 5 miles an hour, without even having my head down or up in the air. Really quite easy. And the ironic thing was, I flicked through the trip computer and it says I was doing 87.5 miles per gallon. So when I was absolutely wringing its neck, it was still giving really good miles per gallon. Because it does matter, you've spent a lot of money on this bike, you want it to be a relatively cheap run thereafter. Off of the mark, it's quick. You can put the speed down really well. It climbs hills well, and I don't know if that's anything that Yamaha have done with regards to how they've set up this engine, but even when you're going up steep hills, I'm 12.5 stone on a good day, and I was able to go up hills that I'd been up on my Grom a number of years ago at 30 mile an hour. This was going up at 50 mile an hour, so it shows you the difference. And yet this is a miles heavier bike. This is probably 30 kilos heavier than a little Grom, yet I was able to pick up another 20 mile an hour going up that hill. Sat in traffic, it is nimble. The clutch bite on this one is quite late, but that's something that's specific to this bike. And the temperature gauge is nice and easy to read. Never did it ever rise above the norm, despite the fact me thraping it all day. The handling on it is good. The suspension, as I've already spoke of, is nicely settled, and you can chuck it around, aided by the fact it's really, really light. The seat is nice and comfortable. The vision forward is good. The vision behind you is okay, is probably the best way to put it. The good mirrors, but I find even, I'm not particularly broad, I was only able to see a slight bit on the offside mirror here, and the way that the rear footsets are, the footsets, sorry, not the rear ones, the setup is nice. Do you know what? It's a great bike. If you're thinking of going into biking and you're on the fence a bit about 125s, spend a bit of money and go and get one of these. Try out a KTM. I know they're particularly good 125s. I can't comment on Suzuki's or any of the Hondas that have recently been released. All I can say is that I've really enjoyed my time on this today, less that really noisy exhaust, which is my age thing. If you're young, you might love it. I don't. So it's great. It's a really good bike. So all in all, ace first time bike, ace returning bike, handles good, brakes well. Okay, so I've got John with me, 16.5 stone on a good day. He's going to go and have a rip on the 125 and go and show you what it's like with a bit more timber on it. Fair to say, mate?
Yeah.
Good fun?
Yeah.
Pulls well, doesn't it?
Dead easy to ride.
Yeah.
I've ridden the bike for a year, and piece of piss, isn't it?
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you've not subscribed already, please do so. Do what all them other folk that have got millions of views do. I've only got 1 or 2 of you that are watching it till this bit, so thanks for sticking it out to the end. So that's it from Just Tom Talk. Thanks very much for joining me. Click that subscribe button. Great little bike. I've really enjoyed it. Take care, dudes.